everyone. Tonight we are talking The Real Housewives of New York, Season 12, Episode 7. But before we get started, if you haven't subscribed, do it now. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can always be notified when I post new content. Thanks. So this episode should have just been entitled Dorinda. I mean, Dorinda really showed out this episode. The episode starts out with Dorinda, Luann, and Leah meeting up in the park. And, Luann and Leah are concerned about the way Dorinda treats Tinsley. Dorinda says that she doesn't care about Tinsley, but that's not true. We can all tell that clearly you care about Tinsley. Otherwise, you wouldn't treat her as crappy as you do. Something is going on with her, and I was trying to lay my finger on what's going on with her. However, I think Ramona has figured it out. So at the same time, Ramona is in a different location of the park with Sonia. Ramona thinks that it's pretty awful the way Dorinda is treating Tinsley. And she thinks that it could be because Tinsley is always in a relationship where she's being taken care of, and Tinsley's always been taken care of. However, now that she is grieving pretty much that loss of Richard, and she's with John, who per Ramona is no Richard, she thinks that she's taking that anger out on Tinsley. And I have to agree, Tinsley is not attacking Dorinda. It's Dorinda doing the attacking to Tinsley, and I don't think that she's being fair to her at all. Luann thinks that Dorinda should give Tinsley a break. She says, Tinsley has that overbearing mother, and they're from the South. Give her a break. Now listen, honey, I don't know what from the South has to do with anything, because I think people from the South are pretty awesome. However, she does have that overbearing mom, that over-the-top smothering mother of hers. But then I can't even give her a break there. She's 44 years old. When do you break away from your mom and just do your own thing? It's time. So Tinsley goes back to see that guy Martin at the gym. Every time he asks her a question, she's like, yes, no, I think yes, but maybe no. I mean, she's not able to answer one question clearly to this man. It's like, girl, can you have a conversation? Then she says it's really hard to have a conversation with him. He's intimidating, which I have to agree. The man is a little intimidating. However, it doesn't take much just to say what it is. I mean, if you want to have this conversation with him, which you clearly seem to want to speak with Martin, just tell Martin what the hell it is. Answer the question. He's clearly trying to help her. He's trying to help her learn how to, one, defend herself, which she was doing an absolutely horrible job in the ring. But two, he's also trying to get her to verbally be able to, defend herself. And I think so far this season, she's doing okay. She's standing up for herself. Last week's episode, she got right back in Dorinda's face, which I appreciate. I'm ready to see Tinsley get out there and get her independence. The man couldn't remember Dorinda's name. He said, where the hell do people come up with these names? He couldn't even remember Tinsley's name. He kept calling her Tinsdale.
You are a f***ing legend. There will never be another Dinsdale. Ever.
Because there's not one. It's Tinsley.
That was funny. Tinsley brought the jokes then. But I'm sure he'll remember it the next time. For the shadiest moment of the evening, Luann goes to visit Leah. And when she gets to the door, she says, you can really tell what sort of apartment it's going to be by the lobby, by the corridor. Then she gets into Leah's apartment, and she is so judgy. Leah's showing her apartment. She's so proud of it. Luann's looking around, okay. Just fake compliments. And then one of the producers asked her, what does she think of Leanne's apartment? And it took her forever to come up with a response. She says, do you really want to know? And then after forever, she says, well, I like that she's humble. Really, Luann? Leah says most people like her apartment unless they're a 1%er. I mean, come on, Luann. Stop being so rude. I tell you, nobody's place is good enough for Luann except for her own. And Luann sit down and talk about their drinking, and they both talk about how alcohol is not going to ruin their lives because they're in control. And I said to myself, don't alcoholics say that they can control it? That they're in charge? They're really not alcoholics? I'm sorry, but the way that both of them react when they are drunk, I think they really should stick to non-alcoholic drinks. What do they call them? The mocktails? Stick to the mocktails, ma'am. You know, Luann went from maybe I'll just have one glass of wine to, or two, the next thing it'll be, or five, and then I'm going to be back in the bushes. No. And, Leah, please stop it. Okay. We saw you drunk that one time and it was a lot. Oh boy. So it turns out that someone has leaked an article to Page 6 about Dorinda breaking up with John. Dorinda says, do you think Ramona did it? I lightweight think Dorinda did it. I'm sorry. It's very possible that Ramona did it, but I'm feeling like I'm thinking that maybe Dorinda dropped that. You know what I mean? She probably put that out there just to, a lot of times some of the reality stars like to put stuff out in the media just to keep their name going around town, But she was just saying that she loves John and John loves her, but she thinks they may have outgrown each other. And the rest of the group feels the same way. They're like, listen, John is no Richard. Everybody has been saying that. I've been saying that, and I don't even know these people personally. No, I know you probably thought I know them. I don't know them. They don't call me. They don't write. Nothing. But anyway, I've always thought that John and Dorinda just don't mix. Ramona said it better than anybody else. Richard is a Harvard graduate, business banker, and she has no idea if John has even gone to college.
Hey, apples and oranges when it comes to Richard and John. Richard was a graduate from Harvard, on the board of Harvard. I mean, what is John? I don't even know if he even graduated college. He's not on the board of anything. John doesn't take care of her. I mean, she has to take care of John, for goodness sake.
John owns that high-priced dry cleaner. And he doesn't have very good manners. So yeah, that's not who she needed to be with. Luann was right though. Luann said, hey, she got with John right after Richard passed and she just needed somebody. And now she realizes 7 years later that John is not it. And I think that's what it was. I think John was supposed to be that rebound guy, the guy that lasts maybe 5 months, and then she was supposed to get rid of him. Somehow he stayed around for 7 whole years. I hope that she continues to let go of John and move on. Somebody that she thinks will love her, the way Richard loved her. Now, the thing I thought was funny was Tinsley said, isn't this funny that I'm learning about her and John's breakup in Page 6? She said when she didn't call me, however, but I'm supposed to tell her all of my business. There you go. There's one for Tinsley. She is absolutely right. Dorinda did not call her and tell her about her ins and out of her and John's relationship. However, every time Tinsley sees Scott, calls Scott, texts Scott, think about Scott, she's supposed to tell Dorinda. No, ma'am. Luann decided that it might be time for the girls to get out of the city and get into the country. So they go to a nice place, Weed Orchard and Winery. And Elise was with them. And I said, hasn't Elise been on every episode so far this season? I don't see her holding an apple, but she is on every single episode. And she's hit and miss with me. Sometimes I'm there for her. Other times I'm like, oh, we don't need you. But anyway, the girls are all on the bus riding out to the orchard, and Sonia is saying that she's just going to have a nice, chilled, healthy, clean day, a little lunch and a little cider. She's not really going to have any wine. She's got her little detox drink with her. She's doing her detox. She's doing her cleanse. Okay, so as soon as they get to this winery, the lady offers them morning cider if they would like it, or they could have wine. And she gives the kind of look like, most people would drink the cider. The girl said, oh no, we're going in for the wine. And who was one of the first to go in for the wine? Sonia. Okay, Sonia starts drinking, and that is a problem because this woman does not know how to have 1 or 2 glasses of wine. It's crazy. As soon as the ladies sit down, they have a little toast like they always do. And Elise says, so Dorinda, what's going on with you and John? I'm like, oh God, don't get this woman started. Ugh. Anyway, Dorinda tells them that, her and John still care about each other. However, they have decided to break up. She feels like she has grown, he has grown. They're not the same people that they were before. And, it's just time for them to separate and try to, move on. She also mentioned that due to the house falling apart with the flooding, then she broke her rib. She's actually had a chance to sit back and grieve her husband, Richard, which I guess she never really got the opportunity to grieve him the way she should have. And that has shown her that John is not exactly what it is that she needs, but she doesn't really want to talk about it with everybody because she thinks she's going to be judged. And Tinsley is feeling some kind of way. So under her breath, but not too under, Tinsley says, well, isn't that something? That's quite hypocritical. You don't want to talk to us about that? It's called communication. I'm supposed to share all my business, but not you. And Dorinda goes in.
Different rules for different people, apparently. Sorry, it just sort of like resonates a little bit.
Listen, don't comment. My gum lasts longer than your relationship, okay? My gum.
Your gum?
My chewing gum lasts longer than your relationship. I didn't know you for the first 50 years. I don't want to know you for the last.
Honestly, we have to be holding each other up. We have to be holding each other up, not bringing each other down.
I can't edit myself to dumbness. I can't edit myself to stupidity, darling.
This is absurd. You seem like you are very insensitive to anything that I have going on in my life, and like a mean person, because you know what, you're judging me on my life. I don't judge you on yours.
I'm sorry.
Calm down. Calm down.
Let me finish.
I'm scared. I'm scared, Luann, without anybody yelling at me that I'm speaking too loudly and that no one was listening to.
Well, listen, you can't.
That was awful. Dorinda had some pretty low blows. She was over the top and extremely hard on Tinsley. You know what, Dorinda? You need to back off. And you also need to put down the drinks. She mentions that, she could have become an alcoholic. She was putting a little something in her coffee in the morning. I think you might be. Close off the liquor. I tell you what, I think that, was it 1 or 2 seasons ago when they had a situation over at The Bachelor, and then The Bachelor had to cut back on the alcohol and they're only allowed to have a certain amount of drinks per hour, which I thought that was still weird too. They were allowed to have like 4 drinks an hour or something, which is a lot. I think that Bravo for the Real Housewives of New York might want to cut them down to 1 drink an hour. These women are nuts. However, I know the show will never do that, because otherwise, if they are not drunk, they're not acting really dumb. So we need that in order for us to be entertained. I hate saying that out loud, but we need that in order for us to be entertained. Tinsley gets up and runs away from the table crying. Now that makes me think, was it not just last night on the Beverly Hills Housewives, Kyle got up from the table and ran off crying? I'm telling you, the housewives know how to bring drama. They also know how to bring the tears and the storm off. But anyway, Tinsley storms off and Luann goes after her. I'm very upset right now. I'm very upset right now. I'm very upset right now. Let me just tell you, Tinsley is very upset right now. I mean, personally, Tinsley is 44 years old. Leah, I think she's in her late 30s. The rest of the girls have hit 50 and further. And this is how we do. And I felt sorry for the rest of the guests at the winery orchard. Those women were trying to have a little lunch too. They were trying to relax, enjoy some fresh air, excited about being out of the city. And you idiots are screaming and hollering and just acting ridiculous. Ramona says that she absolutely feels like Dorinda is using Tinsley as her punching bag. And she feels like Dorinda has gone way overboard. She is taking all of her anger out on the Richard's death, John's not being Richard's situation out on Tinsley. And she feels terrible for Tinsley. However, she's happy Tinsley's there because she feels like if Tinsley wasn't, Dorinda would be doing it to her. That comment that Dorinda made where she told Tinsley she couldn't edit herself to dumb was like, oh, geez, wow. I mean, that was a lot. I mean, the hits just kept coming. Dorinda does not know how to act. When Tinsley called Dorinda a bully, I have to agree. I'm sorry. I think that Dorinda picked the easiest target, and that was Tinsley. I mean, all of this can't be because she was out with Scott and didn't tell you about it. It can't be because she's not opening up to you, telling you her business. It has to be what Ramona said. You are taking all of your anger out on Tinsley. It just doesn't look good. Leah tries to calm the situation down, and she tells Dorinda, she said, look, Tinsley is 44 years old with no husband and no children. You know, she really is upset about that, you know, and you have all of that. And Dorinda says, well, my husband died. I lost a husband. And she goes down the list, and this is not the first, nor the second, nor the third season that somebody else has been going through something and Dorinda brings up the fact that her husband has passed. Now, I do have a lot of sympathy for Dorinda because she lost her husband, somebody who is extremely important, somebody who is irreplaceable. But that doesn't give you the right to hurt other people. People have feelings too. And you losing Richard has nothing to do with Tinsley. Tinsley did not take Richard from you. If Tinsley had the power to take Richard from you, she wouldn't. It's not okay to do that. She says that she's not happy with her life because, you know, her husband is gone. And that's the thing too. It's like, I realize that your husband's gone and you miss him. You miss that type of love that he delivered. But you have a good life. You're a good person. You have your child. You have friends. You have family. You have 2 beautiful homes. You have money. You have fame. You have a whole lot of stuff that other people don't. So sitting around throwing this pity party for yourself is not good. You have got to stop the drinking, stop the screaming, and stop being so selfish. I think you need to just go into some grief counseling and try to be happy again, because you being this way is not right. It's not fair to Tinsley. It's not fair to the rest of the girls. And it sure as hell ain't fair to the people at the Weed Orchard Winery. They didn't deserve this performance. So Leah goes off to try to find Tinsley, and out of nowhere, they decide they're going to climb a damn tree. So they're in these people's orchard, apple orchard, climbing in these people's apple trees. That is ridiculous, and it's not all right. But it did look kind of funny. Tinsley up in that damn tree. I'm thinking, what? Girl, get the hell out of those people's tree. Sonia is 3 sheets to the wind. She is completely drunk in the middle of the day. Luann said daytime sloppy drunk Sonia is not a good look, and it's not. She tries to hit on the owner of the orchard. How many acres you have? I bet you're rich. Oh, is that weed plants? He says, no, it's eggplant. She said, oh, I like eggplant. Sonia, get some water, hun, and maybe get on the bus and take a little nap. Luann takes them on a hayride, which they must have thought they were going on some kind of high-speed race because they kept complaining about the hayride being slow. You're on a damn tractor. I don't know if they have tractors that go, 100 miles. What? So anyway, they get to this corn maze and they decide they're going to go ahead and go through it. Out of nowhere, you hear Tinsley with this high-pitched scream.
They don't want pee on their corn.
Wait, Sonia, be careful.
You couldn't hold it until we got out. Come on.
That's not good for your bladder.
Really, damn it? You're just going to pee in these people's corn maze. So Tinsley is up there tearing up the damn apple tree. Then you two are out here pissing on the corn? Really? Ugh. No class. Just bad all the way. Then they go back to the winery to have a wine tasting with cheese and everything. Sonia's detox is already down the drain because she's drank a gallon of damn wine. She goes into her behavior of talking about sex, being nasty and raunchy in front of these good people at the Weed Orchard Winery. The man trying to give the damn wine tasting says, she's a real hot mess. And Luann says, yeah, but she's our hot mess. I mean, it was just too much. It really was. Leah says that sometimes she wished she'd asked for a dick pic from some guy she's interested in, just so she knows what she's working with. She don't want no tiny penis. Yeah, I mean, nobody wants the tiny penis.
I would use it as a lubricant.
Sonia. That's inappropriate, by the way.
It's inappropriate. What are you doing? Just asking. Sonia, when was the last time you had sex? Because you're looking very needy. I had sex last night, did you? No. I got pounded last night.
Thank you, Sonia.
She'll do anything with a small dick. If you think it's going to bring you a bracelet.
I tell you, this episode was a lot. And these women were a hot mess. But I was here for it. And I am definitely here for next week. They showed in the previews where Ramona threw Dorinda out of her apartment. I guess Ramona said, "You're not bringing that bully shit to my place. Get the hell out of here." And I'm with that. I cannot wait to see what happened and how that fell out. So I guess we'll see then. So until next time, bye.